Hello everyone, good evening and welcome back to Roma Theory. We've got massive news today because Smalling is back from his injury. In fact, moreover, adding on to this, it's the first time in ages where we have got an empty injury box. The only player who is still considered to be injured and is still therefore doing his rehab in the injury box is Tammy Abraham, but that's not a surprise. I think this is massive news because it kind of continues on to what we said yesterday. If this team is fit, if this team isn't injured, if this team is there available with a lot of rotations, nobody will change my mind. And I hope the majority of us that we're the fourth best team in Italy. I'm convinced about this. With a full squad, with no injuries, Roma's got the fourth best team in Italy, no doubt about this. So having a less injury-prone teams, having players back available, which improve the squad depth. Azmoun is back from the Asian Cup. Iran got eliminated by Qatar, literally like 1 hour ago. And Dika is obviously, hopefully, gonna be back soon. It's a full squad, and we need to have full squads to move forward, especially if we want to try and compete in all different competitions. And when I say this, I mean obviously now, because we still got the league, which we have to focus on, and the Europa League, which we should not snub away just because Mourinho isn't here anymore. But we're going to talk about that soon, because I also want to speak about February. February being a crucial month. February being the month of tests and exams and seeing if De Rossi can withstand the pressure of playing bigger sides. So we're also going to mention that. But even moving forward, next season, no matter where we will be, if it's going to be Champions League, Europa League or Conference League, Coppa Italia once again, and I mean if we don't get Champions League, or even if we do get Champions League, we need to start getting top four consistently. And the only way you do it is, number one, if you have a quality team, and number two, if your players are available in games, if your players have a good squad depth. And all I can say is, if our team is available and everyone is available, we have a strong team. We have a lot of names and possible variables in terms of the way we want to play, the formation we want to use, and the players which could start. With that being said, let's look at the injury situation in more detail, because as I said at the start, it's the first time in a while where the only player in our injury box at time of speaking is Tammy Abraham. Now again, if you're a Roma fan, you're guaranteed being unlucky. If you're a Roma fan, you're born unlucky. That's the law of life. And I hope that I haven't jinxed the situation saying this, but fingers crossed, because I really do hope that we get and we sort out the injury problem. But yeah, Smalling is back, training with the group, has been training with the group for the past week, and he's aiming to get a call-up for Saturday's big game against Inter, and then get back starting games, maybe against Feyenoord next Thursday and Rotterdam, or starting from the next weekend at Frosinone away. So Smalling is back. Renato Sanchez also back. I was at the stadium on Monday, and I can confirm, I'm not sure if you could see it at home, that Renato Sanchez was warming up. He didn't get subbed in because Baldanzi got subbed in, but he was warming up. He warmed up, I'd say, pretty good, solid 30 minutes before De Rossi deciding to obviously keep him on the bench and put Baldanzi. So Renato Sanchez is also, it looks like he's grabbing a bit more consistency. Again, the problem with Renato Sanchez is similar to Dybala in a sense that he plays a game and gets injured because he's scared to get injured, and therefore it limits the way he plays. If Renato Sanchez wasn't obstacled by the fact that he gets injured this often and therefore plays with a mental block, Renato Sanchez would probably be starting in De Rossi's team, because he's exactly what De Rossi wants: a player which moves around, a player which takes positions of other players, and a player who can drag the ball forward. So if it wasn't for his injuries, Renato Sanchez would be a perfect fit for De Rossi. But again, we also do need to consider the fact that Renato Sanchez plays with a mental block, and therefore it leads to manager Mourinho first and De Rossi now choosing other names before him. Um, so yeah, Renato Sanchez does need to fix out the psychological factor of injuries. But I want to speak about Smalling because this is, I mean, I am so in. You could write a book. You could write a book about the Smalling Saga, and I'm not even exaggerating. You could come up with a 100-page book describing the situation, describing how the media acted upon this situation, how Mourinho used to act to this, how the fact that Mourinho got sacked and 24 hours after the Mourinho sack, he finally spoke. The fact that nobody here, us fans, knew what Smalling ever had. The fact that he was never posted on social media when he was injured. You could write a book around this entire Smalling saga. And I'm not sure if I want to laugh or cry at this because it is pretty funny on an individual level, but it's also a situation which makes you ask a lot of questions. And I have got, if I were a journalist which works at the Olympico after Saturday's game, I would get to Smalling and ask him 10 different questions. Obviously, the thing which is central when you speak about Smalling nowadays is the fact that it's been a mystery. Like, the weird thing here is the fact that it's been hidden from us. I'm not sure if this has deliberately been chosen by Roma to go against Marie. Again, there could be so many different knots to this. It could be that this was a deliberate decision of not letting anything public. Because it's not something that any team does. You know, it's not like a player gets injured and the entire team pulls a massive censorship around it. Like, it felt like we were living under in a dictatorship. We never had a clue of what Smalling had. We never had a clue of where Smalling got injured. We never had a clue of he himself actually announcing being injured. You know, when players get injured, they go on Instagram immediately and say, unfortunately, I'm forced to stay out. I wish the fans and the team all the best. I hope to see you all soon in a bit. Normally, that's what players do when they got injured. Smalling never appeared. It's something which definitely has more than just a simple injury behind it. The other question here is, which I think we have a certain answer to this, is did Smalling deliberately not speak about this to kind of prolong it in a sense, to make it longer, to make his rehabilitation longer, because he didn't want to play with Mourinho? That's how the media depicted it. I'm not saying that's the correct version to listen at, because the media is the media is crazy. You know, the media could write many different things and we could all believe in them. And I think if we all believed in everything that the media says, we'd probably not even get to 20 years of our life. So there's a lot of different plots and scenarios that every different journalists wrote about. The most common one was the fact that Smalling fell out with Mourinho in the preseason, and therefore from September to, what is it now, February, mid-February, nobody ever wanted, he himself didn't want to speak out to this as a sign of protest. And then the fact that there was also the fact about him being vegetarian or vegan. Well, yeah, one of the two. I don't even know what he is. The fact that he was vegan and the fact that being vegan doesn't help. The fact that he didn't want to get a surgery to speed up the... What I would say is, I think if I had to sum up the situation and give my thoughts on it, I'd not base myself on any of these factors because they could easily be made up. They could be true, but they could also be made up. And I don't want to disrespect a player who is now on the verge of getting back playing for my team and kind of disrespect him because I don't know the full entity of the story. No, The truth is that us fans will never know the reality of this. Just like we fans will never know the reality of the real reason of why Mourinho got sacked. This is the life of a fan, especially when you've got an ownership who doesn't speak. Because look at Napoli today. De Laurentiis published an interview today literally saying, I told Garcia the sack because I told him to fuck off. The difference in ownerships and the methodology of ownerships in this league is incredible. On the one hand, you've got Lotito and De Laurentiis, Lazio and Napoli respectively, who speak up in every single day. And then on the other extreme, you've got the Fredkins, who have never opened their mouth in 3 years of being Roma owners. Very, very weird, very different. And it's very different to know the real side of things when you're owned by people who don't speak and who are following a philosophy of being quiet and letting everything flow behind the scenes. But again, my conclusion is, I'm not gonna base I'm not in a position, and I am nobody to go, oh, Smalling was a bitch because he didn't want to play, because I don't know if that's true. And I can't know if that's true. So I'm not gonna call him a bitch because I don't know the real story to this. What I will say, however, is that this situation is sketchy in a sense that it doesn't make sense, because the real thing which triggers me here is the fact that he spoke about this on social media the day after Mourinho got sacked, and in 3 months' time under Mourinho, he never even dared to tell us anything. That is definitely disrespectful to Jose, but it's kind of also disrespectful to us fans. That's the only thing which I have a lot of questions regarding. The fact that why is it that he did speak the day after Mourinho got sacked, but then didn't say anything during his injury? That's a bit weird. So that is definitely something that I'm very curious to know about. And I am sure that the media is going to target him as soon as he gets back playing. I am sure about this. The amount of questions and the pressure that they're going to put Smalling in once he's back is going to be immense. But yeah, as always, I don't live in the past. I'm not going to be one of those people who say, no, don't let Smalling play any of these games because he's been unprofessional. That is true. You could argue that he has been unprofessional, but I don't live in the past. Smalling is with us until the end of the season. And from now until the end of the season, in my opinion, as a fan, I want to see him play. Then, if I want to extend his contract or sell him in the summer, that's something that I will decide upon seeing his performances. But I don't forget what Smalling gave to me last season very easily. I don't forget what people gave to my team very easily. The Smalling last season was one of the best defenders in the league. One of the reasons why we were so solid in defense and why we kept so many clean sheets. If you add that Smalling back to this team, we would improve by 10. So I want Smalling back, and I don't care if he's been unprofessional, because we don't know if he's been yeah, okay, he has, but again, just like I said before, we don't know the real story. We just can't. Again, if it is true, also another thing, may I add, if it is true that Smalling fell out with the manager because in every press conference that Mourinho gave, he literally attacked Smalling, and we know this because I covered every press conference that Mourinho said, and go back to every press conference, there was always a connotation of Mourinho going, this season is ruined because Smalling is the problem. Smalling ain't a man. Smalling should be more like Mancini. Just like a lot of other players, one time the manager does it, okay, I'm a man, I grow. Second time, okay, I can understand it. He's frustrated. Third time, okay, but the fourth time that the manager calls you a pussy, can we say? These players are human themselves, so you can't expect Smalling not to kind of rebel against the manager who has always attacked him in press conferences. That's the other side to this. But again, I'm glad he's back. I definitely want to see him play, and I also think Huijsen could also grow much with Smalling next to him. With that being said, February. this second part of February is very important because we've got three very complicated. In fact, I think we've got four. Let me quickly check the February schedule. We definitely have Inter, Feyenoord, Frosinone, and then after that, I believe we've got one last game in February, which is Torino at home. That's another very complicated game. So look, in these four games, we will know a lot of things. We will know if and how De Rossi's philosophy will be implemented. We will know how the players will react because I think we are going to lose one of these next four games, or in general, we're going to lose points in these next four games. We're not going to win all four. So I am curious to see how the team does and has to say when, with this new manager, they lose points for the first time. But the one thing which I did want to focus on isn't the Inter game and the Frosinone game, because Inter game specifically we'll speak about tomorrow. Match preview, so set reminder, come back tomorrow for the preview for a very big game. But what I did want to mention is Europe. I think that, yes, I agree. Winning or reaching a final without Mourinho is going to be complicated. I'm going to accept that. I'm going to agree to that. You know, a big percentage of the reasons and the factors why we reached these two consecutive finals was because of the experience of Mourinho. But I also would say that it would be a very big mistake for De Rossi to let go European football, to concentrate on top four, just because he's not Mourinho. Yes, Mourinho is a big reason of why we reached two consecutive European finals. But I also have to say and mention that yes, the manager does count a lot, but at the end of the day, it's the players who play. And the players and the manager all together got to two consecutive European finals. These players, I think if there's one thing that Mourinho left in this team is handling European games. This doesn't mean that we'll reach a Europa League final once again, but Mourinho taught them how to fight and how to deal with the pressure of European games. And a lot of these players themselves reached two European consecutive finals. So I wouldn't scrap Europe right now. The Feyenoord game is probably one of the most complicated games from now until the end of the season, just because it's become a derby. It's our second derby nowadays. And they will want to seek revenge anytime soon. But I want to take my chances in that game because we've beat them twice. And I know that we can beat them a third time. It's not an impossible task. Now, I was opening Instagram yesterday, and the first comment on an Instagram Roma post was a Feyenoord account bot going, "Oh, Roma, prepare. Are you scared?" I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. We might end up losing, but I'm not scared. How can I be scared of a team that I beat two consecutive times and lifted a trophy in front of their eyes? I can't be scared. You know, it should be them who should be scared about us. I'm not scared. I'm nervous, yes, because football's weird. And I know that they want to seek revenge anytime soon. And they can win that game. They can. I'm not saying they can't. But I'm not scared. It's the Feyenoord guys who should be scared. It doesn't make sense for a team who beat you twice to be scared of you. It's the opposite way around, mate. I'm not sure if you understand it. But yeah, it's going to be a very complicated game, no doubt. But that's with every game. So yeah, looking forward to that. But we shouldn't snub Europa League just because Mourinho's gone. We need to take your chances. We're there. We're going to fight in every competition we're in until the end of the season. And wherever we will go, wherever the wind will bring us, the wind will bring us. If the wind will stop against Feyenoord, well, then we focus on top four. But not having Mourinho on the bench is not a justification for not going well in Europe. We should give it our best. Then, if we get thrown out, we get thrown out. And if we get it in another European final, it would be historical. But take your chances, believe in every single game as always, and yeah, right. Yo, is the kid Ultra your brother who is always with you in the Olympic? Oh no, he's not my brother, mate. He's not my brother. He's season ticket holder next to me, with his family, obviously, not by himself. Hey Simon, Montreal loves you. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, mate. I love Canada too. I would love to go there once. I've never been, but I would love to. Lukaku has the score. It says Pino. Is Baldanzi fast? Well, seeing his status and physique, he can't be slow. Small, thin players are normally very fast. De Rossi gave Smalling holy water from the Vatican. De Rossi career saver. We gave Inter a hard time last match. We must believe. We surely must believe. They are better than us. But it's a poker game. It's a poker game. I want to take my chances. I'll be there on Saturday at the stadium. And I want to see. I want to take my chances. I'm going to the Feyenoord and the Torino game. If you remember, I asked you in the past if I should go to these games. Enjoy it, mate. Definitely enjoy them and also enjoy the city. Simo, I like Smalling, but honestly, it seems that he's taken a piss and is toxic if he put himself ahead of the team. I can agree to that, but as I said, we don't know the real story to this. You know, all I can say is, yes, he's been a bit of a diva, if that is the real story. But I will also say what I said 5 minutes ago. If it is true that, and it is true, that Mourinho attacked him in every press conference, I'm not surprised that he rebelled. And again, we mentioned this yesterday. That is what, unfortunately, Mourinho got wrong in this team. That's what he got wrong, the communication level. Because, you know, you can't go in front of the mics in 2024 and say, these players are all shit. You know how much that drags the morale down? You know how much the confidence drops down? The perfect example of this is Karsdorp. Look at Karsdorp. Looked depressed under Mourinho. Look at him now. Completely revitalized. So, yeah, I want to know the real story. I know I won't know the real story, but just because I won't and will never know the real story, I think it's premature to build up arguments. The fact that he's been a diva, I agree, because he should have been back sooner, even if he fell out with the manager. A lot of players in this team fell out with Mourinho and still played. So in terms of that, I agree. But the real entity, we never know. And we're not in a position to call him, as I said before, a bitch, because we don't know the real story to this. It would be being controversial and hypocritical. That's what it would be. And I don't want to be that. But yeah, lads, again, I'm going to catch you tomorrow for the preview. It's going to be a very interesting preview. Lukaku back, Mourinho's past, Roma and Inter in a game. Very interesting game, very big game. Looking forward to it. It's coming. In 3 days it will be there. It's a Saturday night special. So yeah, preview tomorrow. Again, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe to the channel. Everybody, if you're watching this, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. Hit the like and subscribe and you're a legend. Yeah, I will talk to you soon. As always, good night. Take care. Enjoy your dinner, lunch, breakfast. And yeah. Talk to you soon. Simo out.